Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 36 Chambers of Crypto Taxes. My name is Jamal Solomon, aka Crypto J. And if you ever listen to any of my podcasts, it's all about protecting your assets. As a tax accountant and someone that represents a lot of people in front of the IRS and various state tax departments, it hurts to see a client have their assets in danger when it could have been prevented. And so what I like to do, I like to expose y'all to my network to teach y'all about different ways to protect your assets, whether it's just the regular money or is it crypto. So that's how I love to go. And I was researching because the extension time is almost October. Extension time is coming up, and I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I want to research different softwares that's pretty good with keeping clients organized. Because I believe that it's two different clients. You have the ones that want to do good, but their records are all over the place and they get intimidated. And then you got the second type of client that's like, "Oh, the IRS is not going to find me. Whatever happens, happens." So I was researching different softwares and I was contacting them like, hey, can we have an interview? 9 out of 10 did not, respond, but this company responded right away. It wasn't like they responded 2 weeks, it was like right away. And the person couldn't make it. And then he said, you know what? We are not canceling this. We want to get a replacement, just as, good as him. So I'm a fan of Node 40. So I'm so honored to have Norm with us from Node 40. He's going to tell us a little bit about the company and tell us his insight on the industry and why, guys, you should finally take it serious about having good records. Thank you, Norm. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, hey, thanks, Jamal. Yeah, thanks a lot for the intro. Pleasure to be here. We love speaking at these types of with these types of events and these types of platforms. So yeah, my name is Norman Hannawa. I'm with a company called Node 40. Um, Node 40 was founded back in 2015 by a couple of very engineering focused people, two engineers up in upstate New York. They were running their own staking nodes as validators, and they were receiving cryptocurrency at the time as their staking rewards. And then, potentially disposing of that or transferring or whatever they may be doing with it. And this was way back in 15, and the accountants their accountants said, hey, I don't really know what to do with this. I don't really know what it is. You just need to give me some sort of accounting report on gains, losses, income, whatever it may be, and I'll put it on return, but I'm not going to process this. And so the Node 40 founders created their own data report for the rewards they were receiving and then doing whatever they may have been doing with. And after a couple of years, that data report started to expand, get built upon as there were other crypto transactions taking place. And they eventually they loved the data element and building out the data so much that they transitioned the entire company to a data a data contextualization company. They sold off the nodes. Other than nodes we keep, we do have, so we do retrieve the data through computer nodes that are on the blockchain. But in terms of the staking node business, they sold that off and focused on the data business. So that's the background behind Node 40.
Oh, wow.
It is engineering heavy company. So there's like Jamal, there's like 20, 25 people, 20, 28, up and down in that range. And at least 20 some of them are engineers. So that's Node 40's background.
Hmm.
Um, and again, real quickly, the founders I just want to mention are Perry Wooden and Sean Ryan, and they're still with the company, and they trying to make it happen here.
What I love about the story is that it was before all the hype. Because I believe the hype was maybe 27, 2018. Hype meaning people is when like the media, the main media, and it's going to the moon. So they saw the need before the hype, and because tax accounts in 2015 was not thinking about crypto, not at all. And how I got into it is 2017, 2018. A client that I'm like owes $1 billion to the government say, "Oh, I brought Bitcoin." I'm like, "Bitcoin? You should be buying a Bitcoin. You gotta pay this government bill." And that's why I say, you know what? I gotta educate people. So because a lot of people after it got popular, I felt like all these companies that's doing what you're doing is popping up because it's the thing. But to have founders that thought about it before it got popular says a lot about your company, which is cool. Very
Yeah, no,
cool.
they've been in it for a while, and they sort of the platform has been being built, I'd say, kind of boots and suspenders.
Hmm.
They raised money maybe in the last year and a half, but they really built the company because of their expertise, boots and suspenders on their own in some ways, with some investors, some angel investors, but some of the larger growth has taken place in the last year as they got more investment. And we've the platform started off as a bit more retail oriented, i.e., a lot of different people could come and use the platform, but over the so Jamal, they really focused on the data and the details behind the data and having not only accuracy, but providing the taxpayer and the accountant with a lot of contextualization regarding what's going on, right?
Hmm.
So very in-depth reports that go over not only your gains and losses, but what type of transactions have you been engaging in? Has it been staking? Has it been DeFi? If it's been DeFi, exactly what kind of DeFi? Collateralization, collateralizing an asset on Maker, borrowing on a DAI on that asset, stuff like that. So we've been providing the data not only to retail taxpayers, but also a lot of CPA firms that have
Yeah.
high volume clients that may be doing a lot of analysis, a lot of trading, and then the CPA firm itself, where people like you want to actually take the data and analyze it to take positions, etc.
Because I think what a lot of people don't understand, well, starting to understand that it goes beyond the Schedule D and all that, the buying and selling. So you may have other income. It may be some interest type income. So it just can't be like, oh, I know the basis, I'm good now. Because that affects, people know how much taxes you're gonna get paid, you're gonna pay on it. So I love systems like that that know the difference of other income and cost basis and stuff like that. Now, is your system, if a regular person, do you need to be a CPA to operate, or can a regular person kind of figure it out?
No, we do have some retail customers.
Hmm.
So admittedly, we end up with some very complex customers with a lot of complex transactions. We would love to get customers with the easy stuff, but we end up being known for dealing with complex transactions. So we get we get the two types: CPAs with either trading customers or maybe platforms that are crypto native, like operating companies, NFT marketplaces, or some tech company that's running like platforms to allow for people to bridge and collecting fees, all that kind of stuff, right? We have those kind of customers, investors and traders, or crypto native on the CPA front. And then most of the retail customers are like high frequency traders. Um, the platform can analyze a high volume of transactions. So we actually, easily a million. And then we even have a special platform for one particular party that does like hundreds of millions of trades a year. So we process those. It can get up to 5, 6, 7, 800 million, depending on
Hmm.
uh the particular year and the volume available in the marketplace, etc.
So I see that you're the head of tax strategy. So when it comes to that, what do you think is like your common advice to people that does a lot of high volume of crypto in regards to the taxes?
Yeah. So my background is I was a tax partner at EY, and I was
Hmm.
at EY for about 10 years in their financial services group doing tax for like insurance companies, banks. The service group dealt with insurance companies, banks, and investment funds. And after I left EY, I joined a buddy of mine at a company called Chainalysis,
Hmm.
which was doing blockchain tracing, and they were um, they were providing data to the IRS to help identify potential criminal activity / tax evasion, right? And so what I would say with that background, number one, yes, it is not easy for the IRS today to identify
You said
taxpayers.
today.
It's not easy, but
uh,
it is possible, right?
yes.
With John Doe summons that they've received from various exchanges, they do have wallet addresses with U.S. taxpayers that have on-ramped onto a wallet with onto an exchange with fiat.
Mm,
So they have those addresses, and then they have tracing tools. So they could certainly take those addresses and start tracing to say, okay, once that particular wallet has left Coinbase or Kraken or whatever it may be and engaged in on-chain transactions, we can trace those on the chain with
mm,
tool and then develop a report on that particular taxpayer. Now, I say it's not simple though, because I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, right? It's
mm-hmm.
not like it just gets handed to the IRS on a silver platter, but it is possible for them to trace and develop an audit trail and then come and audit you, right? And then second, in my experience, the IRS does like to have some good wins, right? Especially wins that can be made public to allow
Yeah.
for them to, as you know, Jamal, right? Tell the world, tell the United States
We
citizens
coming.
that we got this person.
Yeah.
They try to avoid their taxes on a massive crypto gain or whatever it may be. And look, this can happen to you. Report your taxes correctly. So if you're high volume, I'd say, because Jamal, you know how the fact that crypto is treated as property, every single transaction is also potentially taxable.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have some sort of a data trail to be able to justify justify your positions on your returns, right? And a data trail that can be efficiently managed, right? So where you can simply, like in our situation in Node 40, load your wallet addresses, load your centralized exchange API keys or CSV custom uploads, and then produce a report that is ready to go within minutes, hours, or even a couple weeks if there's some manual stuff that needs to be changed. And it's very important to have that, because at the very least, then you've shown the IRS that you've been diligent in trying to compute your taxes, and you're not just taking a really super high level viewpoint.
I love those tips because I feel like the general public feels that since the IRS is so big and deal with so much issues, is that it's little me, they can't get to me, they slow, they don't have it. But what I learned is if the IRS really, really wants to dig into your stuff, the power I mean, I've seen them get information from banks, mortgages, like people don't understand the powers they have, and they go to the exchanges, they go to wallets, and I don't get why people just don't understand that doesn't translate to crypto if they really want you. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, you don't want to be the example. Right? The example's the worst.
no, and they have the form. I'm not a systems guy. I don't create the systems at the IRS. I know some people that have some friends
Mhm.
that do that, right? But they have the form that says, do you have any crypto? And right there, they have like an initial gateway into saying, okay, right there, um, there's a potential higher audit possibility, right? Right by checking yes, you probably get put into a different category to be say, hey, look, a possibility of a higher audit. And if you say
Mm.
no, but you did have crypto, there's that John Doe summons. They have it from
Mm.
changes. So wait a second, you have crypto, you don't have crypto, but Coinbase told me you do.
Mm.
And then lastly, Jamal, those that there's the information reporting rules that have been around
Yep.
since the infrastructure came back out. The Infrastructure Act was passed in 2021, requiring brokers to start reporting 1099 data
Yes.
or gains, losses, tax basis, etc. It hasn't been for regulatory purposes, it hasn't been fully enforced yet because we
Mm.
haven't had any regulations, but some exchanges are trying to do their due diligence and avoid like penalties by
Get ahead of it.
avoid issues with providing incorrect data. So they are out there providing data. I get a 1099, right, from some of them,
Yeah.
or a type of form or deliverable that could be treated as a
Mhm.
1099, perhaps. The IRS is going to the IRS and the regular the Treasury are going to be requiring even more of that over the course of the next couple of years with these proposed regulations that came out a couple weeks ago.
So
So
with all yeah, so with all that said, because if people really think about crypto, it's not the is Bitcoin gonna be 100K? That wasn't like the original, goal for it, privacy, a little more freedom. Um, like in general, do you see crypto like
oh,
expanding and get better? Like, how do you see it in general? Like a
um
prediction. I know you don't know the future. Like, how
yeah,
you see it in the future?
Jamal, compared to maybe some of the people, so I am not the Mazzari like super expert on
Yeah.
digital. It's like I have like a tax and tax background from accounting
Hmm.
firm, law, etc. What I'd say though is, I have to kind of read up and keep track of what's going on because our platform
Hmm.
has as a data platform, we may grow with the entire industry. So I'd split things off personally between like digital assets as like a whole universe with
Yep.
crypto, stable coins, NFTs, and other assets, and then crypto. So on digital assets, I'd say there's a my personal view is there's a good possibility of growth only because number one, you have um I think Bitcoin can be looked at as potentially like a some sort of a store of value that I don't think it's currency, but I do look at it as a store of value. I don't see that going away. Maybe some people
Hmm.
compare it to gold. I don't know if that's perfect, but I don't see Bitcoin going away because of some of its attributes. Um, um, I see the Ethereum blockchain personally as something that has shown it has like modality. There are use cases for it with decentralized finance and some other use cases. I was just at an event recently on just um, Ethereum and Ethereum. It was I'm looking at it in Chicago, so it was an Ethereum Chicago event where they were talking
Hmm.
about various use cases. Um, some NFTs, as work of art, some may survive.
Yeah, they're getting battered. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as crypto though, I think there's going to be a lot that don't survive, right?
Yeah,
But that
naturally.
being said, blockchain will tokenization.
Mm,
You've been reading these articles in the last couple of weeks.
yeah.
I'm a believer that there are efficiencies by using blockchain to do various transactions, including transfers. You could use the blockchain for tokenization of assets like stock, bonds, index funds, maybe even real estate. I know that's a hard one, but real estate, people are talking about that. So there's possibilities to tokenize various assets that are on the blockchain that could be looked at as digital assets down the road. So that to me is like a real opportunity for the
I
industry.
see that it's just evolution of just assets. Like if we think like the dollar is gonna be like it for the rest of our lives, you don't have good,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen. People was trading coins and cows back in the days, and we barely see coins, real physical money. And that was only like 10 years ago that you always saw people with dollars. We don't see that no more. So digital assets and all that stuff that I feel like it's just natural to me. Like I believe that 90% of them will die. Because a lot of them was BS anyway in the first spot.
Yeah.
But it's something that especially business owners just cannot just like deny that they have to start learning this stuff. They have to, especially when it comes to record keeping, like you guys at minimum, and how the IRS deal with this. Because I believe a lot of more customers will be asking for this. Not tomorrow, because right now AI is the sexy thing. That's what everybody's worrying about.
Yeah.
But it's here to stay. And what I love about being in the industry and kind of knowing it is that yes, the major media is not talking about it because it's not sexy no more, but it's still a lot of innovation that's going on. That's amazing. So it's not like dead. It's just not on Channel 7 or CNN as it was 2 years ago. And that's enlightening. That's uplifting.
Yeah, no, I think it's not dead. And some of the bad press was unfair personally to me, like for crypto, because some of the bad press had to do with fraud that can take place. Quite frankly, it was
Anyway.
taking place anyway, and it was taking place on almost
Yeah.
centralized platforms. Uh,
Yes.
where You could have that fraud back in 2008 or back in the 1920s, the 30s, you know what I mean, with the stock market crash. So there's a lot of different types of things that are attributed to quote unquote crypto, but are really necessarily they don't really necessarily encompass crypto itself. They're
Yeah.
a element of human problems, right?
Yeah. So cool, man. I'm gonna have the info on, so everybody's gonna see the info, contact info, but can you like verbally just say how can people find your company and like the website and all that other stuff?
Yeah, it's node40.com. And we are on LinkedIn and Twitter with Node 40. I'm usually on LinkedIn. I do some Twitter, but I'm usually on LinkedIn. It's most
Twitter,
check
X.
out or X, yeah, formerly known as Twitter. Node 40 on LinkedIn. We're pretty active on LinkedIn, a little bit active on Twitter, but we usually Jamal, it's one of those where I'd say probably we're getting up there in terms of being active on X, but we focus on the CPA crowd. A lot of them are on LinkedIn, so we're pretty heavily active on that. So check us out on LinkedIn. We're coming out with more thought leadership materials to help people like you, Jamal, and others. So we're hoping, we're hoping to get a lot of interaction, and we love these discussions.
Yeah, and what I like about it, like you're very approachable, as we can see at this interview right now. So yeah, honestly, do want to make sure that you're providing the best service for people and understanding different situations. And I think a lot of people take that for granted. So I hope that people just value your philosophy on dealing with people, because I think it's very important.
Yeah, Jamal, I'm glad you mentioned that really quickly. Like our team, it's not just the software platforms. We get a lot of like people, you know how it is in technology. We have a team of people you can deal with. We have an
Yeah, I might have a
analyst.
bot talk to me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think we've had a lot of compliments on that. That it's a small item, but it does make people feel good that they can call somebody and talk through,
Priceless.
data issues. So we've got that.
Priceless. Yeah, and like I'm doing the conference, as you can see in the background, even though I'm blocking it. Woo! The Health, Wealth, and Crypto Conference, and maybe I'll keep in contact with David about possible ways to work together. And it's just all about educating people about how to stay safe with them, especially within the crypto and the business realm. So I would love to work with you further because I'm more team mode. Node 40 right now because I like how you operate. So I'm just definitely going to talk about you a lot more. And thank you for taking the time.
Thanks a lot, Jamal. Really
All right.
appreciate it.
You have a great day. Have a productive week.
Okay.
All right.